It's like revenge with a vengeance. Revengeance. Yes. Followed by slash.
You sure it's not a parody?
Nope. All right.
Let's not take this seriously.
We'll go ahead and start the
Start
next
a show. Yay!
Hey, we're starting a podcast. That's what we're here for.
We're doing.
Oh, that's what this mic is for.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Podcast 3, The Revengeance.
No, it's podcast 4.
Oh, we haven't heard.
We weren't
3
here
yet.
for 3.
We're here now, having not heard
Podcast
3
3
yet.
is Skypecast. All right.
Oh,
yeah,
fancy.
With my buddy Riley and
Wow.
Cannon. You'll hear it soon. It's good stuff.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be done by now if it was that good?
I'm back for this one.
Kyle was gone. I thought Kyle was here the whole
No,
time.
Kyle.
Oh, you guys had a loner Kyle.
Oh,
The one I've been tinkering with
we
in
had
the shop.
we had the clone.
Yeah.
Because your evil mad scientist father makes clones of you.
You didn't notice
you're
he was
accident
constantly
prone?
shaking, smoke coming out of the neck.
I thought it was awkward, yes, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's
Kyle.
Mr. Potato Head as a head, but you know,
Yeah.
it's not too far from the Kyle.
Oh.
I know.
Ouch. But since the real me wasn't here, I have some notes from what I
Okay,
listened
go for it.
to.
Here we go. Notes.
Number 1, Minecraft is tedious.
Yeah. No one denied
Agreed.
that.
That would have been my addition to the conversation, that's all.
The way he described
that,
it didn't sound it that way to begin with.
I don't know, I like building, but not if I have to, if I had to go when I played Legos and chop all the Legos down from a big Lego tree.
So what you're saying is you like the craft and not the mining.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Oh, but
So if they
that's
make a
half of the
craft
fun.
game, if they make a game just called Craft,
you
you'll
know,
play.
you know what happened? You probably just got
Copyright.
killed by a couple zombies, and then you just got
Unless
upset
it's
about it.
mac and
Probably.
cheese.
Number
They're
2,
like, you do.
the new Batman game you guys are talking about is Gotham City Imposters.
Yes.
And right now, it looks ridiculous shit.
I hate it. I don't
It
want
looks
to play
like
it.
trash.
Okay, one thing I will say, it's the guys that did No One Lives Forever, and I don't know if you guys ever played it or
Yeah, I
you remember
did.
it. That game was amazing
No
and
One Lives
hilarious.
Forever's awesome.
No, that was hilarious.
They never say her name in either Portal game.
They don't?
They never say her name.
Boom!
Really?
Boom!
Yep.
It's just
No.
internet. No one fucking knows.
I've
you're
always
right.
pronounced it as just Gladys, as
Gladys.
in, like the name
Yeah.
Gladys.
Gladys.
I never pronounced it
like
like
it was
Gladys
Gladys with DOS in it, like the operating
DOS.
system.
like a woman's name, Gladys.
Yeah,
But I suppose we can all agree that it's certainly
not
No.
GLaDOS.
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 GLaDOS. The game you guys were thinking of was Stubbs the Zombie
Yes.
in Rebel Without
There
a
you go.
Pulse.
I remember that.
A quick note: never talk about Hulk Ultimate Destruction without me ever again.
That
That
goes
was
for
one of-
everyone, not just the
In
podcast.
the entire world. I will swoop in and punch you, and then we'll start the conversation over. And finally, the games were Simpsons Road Rage and Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah, which
Hit
one's
Run.
the one that I loved?
Road Rage was the crazy taxi one.
Didn't like
Hit and
that.
Run was the one that was like Grand Theft.
Oh,
Loved
the
it.
other way around.
Those are my notes. We fixed the last podcast. Now that I'm here. Yeah.
I'll edit it
Yay.
retroactively, make you even crazier.
No.
Just change
Use those
just
sound
change-
effects.
Like from the Cosby Show, Bill Cosby is what we'll change you with.
We just all you really need is to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, and Kyle will make enough interesting noises so you can record forever.
Speaking of, did we ever get to do our top 3 games? Because they got to do theirs in the first
We did
podcast.
not. If
Go
you
for
wanted
it.
to go ahead and mention them now, you can.
I'll pick 3 that I would play over and over again.
There you go.
Okay.
That'll
I'll
work.
pick it up and be like, I beat this 6 times. Time to do it again.
There you go.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yes.
Combined.
awesome.
Because they're combined one game. They're
Technically, it's
And you
Sonic
got
and
to play
Knuckles
two
with
with Knuckles.
Sonic 3 plugged into it, but yes.
Yeah, but you start at Sonic 3 and you go through all
Yes,
the
all the
stages.
stages, yes.
Grandia 2 for the
Oh,
Dreamcast.
good
Okay,
choice.
Grandia, yes, one of my favorite RPGs. Grandia 2, I felt it lost a lot of stuff. Giant sword battleships, a little weird for me. A little blonde prince who's named after a horse, not very interesting. But Grandia 1 is one of my favorites, but
The
continue.
battle...
No, I'm not saying I didn't love it. I'm just saying Grandia 1 outweighs it for me.
Okay.
There's a
His name is Roan. Roan is a type of horse.
Oh, I was thinking Seabiscuit.
No, his
but
name is Ron.
that would have been a little more silly.
Shut up, it's great. And I would play it mostly for the combat system itself.
Forgot
Yes.
how they get me.
It's
I played that at
amazing.
least
The,
five
the
times. I love that
real-time
game.
action
Circle,
circle
yeah.
sphere. I think it was just the bar in Granny 2, and they completed the circle in the third one, which was a terrible game story-wise. But and then I have to. I think as
Well, hold on, we have to reset Kyle.
broke him.
Good. I was starting to smoke at the neck. Oh, I'm not the real Kyle. Oh no.
Every week is a different
He's
Kyle.
actually Flexo.
As recent as the game, this beard comes right off. As recent as the game is, I would have to put Portal 2 at the top of all games ever.
Can't argue with that.
Exactly.
And I had to go back and check that neither of you said it
No,
because
I
you
haven't
didn't.
played it yet,
Said
so I
what?
can't say.
What? Huh? Why?
Because I haven't bought it yet.
Everything
as soon
that
as I
game
can,
does-
I will play it. I will sit down and play it straight
Everything
through.
it does.
Oh, I know. It looks
incredibly well.
amazing.
And now I've finally beaten the co-op without Ross.
What?
Here's the thing: I wanted to complete it before I played with you because I feel that we wouldn't cooperate.
No, we wouldn't cooperate.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be
So now
co-op.
that I know how to do it,
You're just going to tell me what to do.
I'll let you figure it out. But if
Kyle's just going to lean back and go, you don't know
I'm smart.
so, those are my 3. Go. Steve.
Oh, jeez.
I thought you were ready.
So I suppose I'll mention the obvious one first, which will be Ocarina of Time. It's on the top of everyone on the playlists list, but honestly, it came at the perfect time in my childhood when I was just at that level where I could sort of start to figure it out on my own. I did, of course, as many people do, used a strategy guide at certain points, but I limited myself.
Water Temple.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Big
water.
Ron
I
sword.
limited myself on how much I used it. It was like the first one where I didn't just have a guide and get all the heart pieces when you should. Actually, I had to go back and get a bunch of stuff. And just, of course, the epic storyline, and it was just perfect at the time for everything it was.
Big Ron sword.
I always thought you had to defeat Ganon with the Master Sword, so I always put Bigoron's sword away in the final battle.
Oh,
in my head, it just made sense, and it was like my heart telling me, no, you can't use Bigoron's sword. It's not the true sword.
I've done
What a shame.
I've done
It would've been
stuff
so much easier.
like that, knowing that I can in a nerdy way to make the game more cinematic for me.
That's
Can't
what
use
it
this
is.
sword. Gotta be the Master Sword.
Exactly. That's
Yes,
where my
I
brain
could.
went. That's where my brain went when
Totally
my
could. But it's
13-year-old
gotta
self
be
played it.
Master Sword defeats evil.
I suppose next I'll say Final Fantasy VI. That was, we talked about in the last podcast that everyone who plays RPGs regularly has one RPG that they played when they were a kid that just absolutely fascinated them and got them to just want to play more of that. For me, that was Final Fantasy VI. I played it first vicariously through my older brother, as I did at the time with a lot of games, because he was very, this is my system and my games, you will not touch them. But then eventually I got to play it myself and got to immerse myself into the epic story.
Don't crucify me,
First
but
one
I never
I
played 6.
God!
Nope.
No,
That's
but,
the American 3.
I never played American 3. I
Wow.
played 7
Wow.
and 9,
I started
which would
with
be my
7,
favorite.
And then
but
first
I
one I
didn't.
ever played the whole way through was 10.
I love 10. No,
10
I
was
love 10.
amazing.
Anybody here fans of Final Fantasy 9?
Yes,
my
actually.
favorite one? Yeah.
I was a
Never
fan.
played it.
Tail.
I would
You had a
be.
tail.
Got a tail.
You had a tail. You had a girl
Yeah,
in a
definitely
yellow
be a
dress
fan.
and a tail. What's the complaint about? The castle turns into a frickin'
Airship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And finally, third one.
And my third one...
He's thinking. He's rubbing his
Oh,
temples.
yeah, go for it.
He's rubbing his hands through his luxurious hair that Kyle wishes he had.
One, Castle Crashers.
Shenmue.
I loved the original Shenmue. I owned it on Saturn.
We're not
I
talking
paid
about
$110 for Shenmue 2 when it came out, and you had
I
to
never
plug
played
something
Shenmue
into
2.
your Saturn to play it. Because I wanted to know who killed his father, and I wanted him to get
Your
vengeance.
Saturn?
Yeah.
What are you what?
The first Shenmue was
Sure,
for...
that
Was it Dreamcast? I
and
apologize.
then
Dreamcast.
Xbox.
Dreamcast.
Okay.
I apologize. Dreamcast then.
Forklifts.
Yep. Doing
do. I love
forklift
that.
games just so I can go buy things out of a vending machine.
I remember the third game that I was going to mention.
Oh, we don't care anymore, but go ahead.
Grand Theft Auto 3. This is my first real big
Is it
sandbox
because of
game.
the anniversary that's coming up soon?
Yeah, as it showed up
Yeah.
on the news.
It just
I
came
figured
out.
exactly.
It just came out on
Knew
iOS.
it! No, exactly.
It just came out on iOS.
Well, no, it's because it started this. It was the first game I remember. Yeah, just being able to run around, drive cars. Like you play multiplayer with friends. There's no multiplayer mode, but you just see how many people you can murder with a vehicle until it blows up.
Or until you die and then hand over the controller.
I-
How high can you get wanted before you're dead again and pass the
Exactly.
controller around?
I played that game so much I memorized all the cheat codes. I could make a rhino tank appear out of thin air without having to look at a piece of paper.
And then the follow-up, Vice City, was the first game I can remember actually sitting there for as long as I could to get 100% and got it. You got the Apache
God damn.
helicopter.
Yep. Jesus,
awesome.
really?
And then they know exactly what the fans wanted. In addition to that, all of your weapons have unlimited ammo. You have all the weapons on you at all times. All of your vehicles and your health are doubled, and by that point you've already unlocked unlimited
At 100%?
sprinting. Yeah, it's
Okay.
just
wow.
it makes the game
Should've
so
gotten that.
much fun.
One of the most important things to me in a game that I know it's a good game is level design. It's super important. When you remember a level, when you remember the maps, when you remember how to get from point A to point B, that means you had a good game. There's still things in Grand Theft Auto games that if you gave them to me today, I could get from here to here, and I remember all the scenery. That's a sign of a really well-made game.
I've never been the
That's it?
biggest Grand Theft Auto fan.
I'm not either.
I did play 3 to death, but Vice City I think I stopped 50% of the way through,
you
and
play 4?
San Andreas
San Andreas I hated.
12% the way through.
Hated San
And
Andreas.
I didn't even pick
played
up
it for a
4.
little while,
I didn't
I
even
stopped.
touch 4.
Really?
I
Four-
didn't even
Four
bother.
was
Terrific.
so good.
Four was
So were
like,
all
even
the
if you-
DLC that came out with it.
Even if you didn't play the main storyline, the Liberty City stories, from what I've heard, are just like tenfold. I mean, not lengthwise, but just content-wise, like legitimately terrific stories told with this engine in the city. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Tycho from Penny Arcade put it perfectly in one of the books. We have the same reaction to all these games. There comes a point in one of the missions or something where the mechanics or camera or controls or something so get in the way of me enjoying it that I dick around with the cheat codes for about 2 hours and then put it away forever.
That is true for
And it's
me
like
for
that
most of those
happened
games
in
too.
Vice City and San Andreas for me so much that I didn't even bother
Okay.
with 4.
The
Didn't
Bank
even
Heist
bother.
in 4. The Bank Heist in 4 almost made me want to give up, but it was so interesting I kept playing it.
If you think about it, Rockstar has done Red Dead Redemption now, which I don't know if you guys agree with me here, but I think the shooting controls way way better.
Oh, yeah. I
Way
played
better
it.
than that.
Yes.
They got Max Payne 3 coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but the shooting controls look even more improved and amazing in that. So if you can combine all of that together with all the effort that they're going to put in Grand Theft Auto 5, I think it at least has a running for being the best.
I have to be
All right, man.
Grand Theft Auto 4, if there was a cheat code to get rid of the cell phone, I think would be one of the best games in history. But that cell phone aspect of that game made me go crazy.
Otis,
Especially since
come
you had to
save
do the
some people
multiplayer
in the
through
mall.
fucking phone.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
cell phone
God.
aspect, the fact that you couldn't just
So
do what
bad.
you wanted because you had to.
Yeah.
I couldn't just play for 3 hours and drive around. I had to answer people's calls, had to take them out on dates.
Oh no, you're still talking about Grand Theft Auto. Me and him thought you would switch to Dead Rising.
No, I switched to Dead Rising for no reason.
Because that was the game that was truly ruined by the walkie-talkie.
Otis.
Yes.
Frank, it's me, Otis.
Answer this right now.
Don't ignore me.
Did you just switch to Driver, to Michael Driver just then?
I think I did. Wow. Gunshot.
Exclamations for anyone who doesn't know what
Gotta
we're
call
talking about. All right, I suppose we'll move on to the news as we usually do. There's not going to be much news this week. I'll let Sean start it off so I can do things on the computer.
What's the news?
Sean, mention a piece of news for us.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
We were gibberishing over
Yes.
the intro for
Yeah.
this.
Go ahead and take a moment and think about that. Revengeance is an
Now
actual
this was
word now.
this was what
Revenge
announced
with
at the
a
shitty awards.
What happened?
Spiked
Okay,
shit
to break it
jobs.
down, to condense it all, what happened was Kojima decided he didn't want to make the game anymore. Sold it to Platinum Studios, and they decided to make their own version of the Rising game, which is now Revengeance.
Okay, what is the Rising game? Is that a game that's
What
already
it-
made? I
what
don't
it
follow
was-
Metal Gear. It
What
annoys
it is,
me.
it was supposed to be the telling of how Raiden got to be as strong as he is in Metal Gear 4. It was
Okay.
supposed to be the split between Metal Gear 2 and 4.
When you realize that you're like
Yeah, when all of a sudden you realize that Raiden is this badass,
Trapped in a
cyborg
virtual
ninja,
reality.
Gray Fox wannabe.
It's the Raiden Guide.
Yes.
Wow.
Jesus.
Gaiden means side story to our non-Japanese speakers.
The new studio, if you never heard of Platinum, they're the guys that did Bayonetta. For me personally, I believe that the Raiden character with the guys that did Bayonetta could be a perfect match.
that sounds
Awesome.
yeah,
Am I
a
right?
Cyber Ninja.
Because Bayonetta controls wise was beautiful.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was
the
a great
story, take it or leave it. I thought it was okay.
Meh.
But controls, the fighting, the boss fights, all that shit was amazing. But doing that with Raiden could be amazing. And the trailer, yes, it's extremely over the top. Raiden throws a Metal Gear Ray into a building and then slices it in half. That being said, I would love to do that with my own controller. Be able to throw a Ray.
Oh,
and slice it.
I'm glad you threw in the with the controller part.
Yes.
Because I thought
No,
you were
if
gonna
I could do that in real life, I wouldn't be talking on this thing. I would be outside doing it.
But for all of its glitz and glamour in the trailer, it's called Revengeance.
It's called
at the
Revengeance,
end.
and I mean Kojima, he's still going to be loosely involved with it.
He'll peek in
He'll
from
peek
time
in
to
from
time.
time to time. He'll show up and say, "What are you doing?" But it's still going to be their game, so it's a spin-off. It's not a Metal Gear.
Okay.
Real quick piece of news that Ross will like, not much to discuss, but just to mention the Asura's Wrath demo
Yes.
has been released February 21st
2
for those who
chapters.
can't wait to play it.
I thought that was only in Japan for right now, though. Or did they actually announce an American release today?
Whoa,
as well?
Steve, he's challenging your news
No, it's
authority.
My news authority!
Your
Yeah,
news
it just
authority.
says Asura's Wrath will be released on February 21st for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Oh, the demo or the game itself?
Demo.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying just when you can start playing.
Calm down.
This is per G4TV.com. I need to start mentioning where I'm getting my news because I am not a magician.
I have a tiny bit of news. It's kind of sad news, but we don't know yet. The Last Guardian, follow-up to Shadow
What?
of the Colossus and
What?
Eco. They have confirmed that Fujimo Ueda has left. But he's hired on as an independent contractor, so he's helping to finish the game, which was supposed to come out this holiday season. They
It's not
still
anymore?
no. It's
The holiday
sir.
season
Look
is
at the
3
date.
days away.
Look at the date.
I've seen nothing
so-
about that game since it was
Yeah,
announced.
I'm hoping that by the spring we have it. I hope it's a nice spring or summer release.
Do we even know what it is yet?
No, we
We
just
don't even know what kind of game it is.
I have a feeling it's the Colossus technology mixed with the exploration of Eco. I think that's what it is. Is that you have a giant kitty that helps
play
you
that.
solve puzzles.
Kitty Wings. That's what they're changing it for the American release.
Kitty wings.
Last Guardian in Japan, Kitty Wings.
In the box art,
terrible
be
box.
incredible too. Yeah, all made the same joke.
Barf. My news is not news because it happened yesterday.
Well, that's still news.
That's still news.
They just dropped Sonic CD
Yes.
on the Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network, and it's $5.
Yeah.
Go get it now.
It comes with
$5.
It comes with
what?
both soundtracks, the American and the Japanese
Sonic
one.
CD.
It's just Sonic CD.
Yeah.
But up
And
to
it's
this
just
point,
$5.
unless you happen to have a Sega CD
No, I
and a
don't.
rare ass
It's
game,
not on
you haven't
anything.
been able to play it.
Or an old PC. Yeah, it came out on PC. Yeah.
Okay,
not new,
so
but I'm
since
playing
no one's really playing anything new, there's not a whole lot going on between between this podcast and last podcast, except for, what we all wanted to talk about. I wanted to discuss something that's been bugging me a bit, and that is IGN's recently released top 100 video game moments of all time, so to speak.
Dun dun dun.
It bothered me just because of certain placements of certain games, so I wanted to discuss it. So
Let's
I
do
figured,
it. That is quite possibly the geekiest idea you've had in months, so let's do it.
I read through it rather quickly. I just went
Yeah.
like, okay. And I wanted to save myself some spoilers a bit, because it seemed like it would be spoilerific. So I kind of read the name of the game first, and I was like, I played that, or I don't care about it, so
Yeah,
there was somewhere I was like...
I probably only read 20 of the descriptions, because half of them are like, oh, okay, I know what exactly you're talking about.
Exactly.
Or, oh, I don't care about this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Next.
No, exactly. This segment will feature spoilers. We would probably know them. You might not. So, I'm just going to say there are going to be some spoilers. So, if you hear us mention a title of a game, hit pause if you haven't played it through or plan on playing it through, because there's a lot of these games.
If you pause it, though, you can't move forward through the podcast, so mute's a better option.
So, I'm just going to blurt through the first 100, or not first 100.
Done.
And if we have anything to add, we'll interrupt you violently with
So I'm just
ice.
going to blurt through the first 75 because we don't have that much time, and then we'll discuss the top 25 and what that means. At number 100, we have The Beatles Come to Video Games.
Yeah, good
Which isn't really a moment as much as it is a release.
I have to give some credence to that. The Beatles' music to go anywhere is a huge deal. To go to iTunes, to go to any format, they hold on to that so tightly. So to come to a medium like video games, which is probably looked down upon by most medias,
That's legit.
it was quite a big important deal.
This is a good game. It was a
Well,
big,
for
fun
me, as
play.
far as a moment from that game, I'll just mention real quick before we move on, is just that opening video that was released like months
Oh,
before.
yeah.
The opening
That's
video.
amazing.
The opening video just floored me because
Still does.
that's right when I got into the Beatles. That late, I got into the Beatles.
Wow.
Right when they released the remasters is when I finally listened to more
Wow.
than the 3 songs that I had known. It
Hell,
just
at least you found it.
You
floored
need
me.
some.
No, I'm a super fan now, but it's just that's when it happened.
That's right, folks. He's a super fan after 2 years of the Beatles.
No, after 2 years, more like 47 years. Like,
But my point is, they've been around forever. You just learned about them, yet you're a super fan now.
oh yeah, I'm not the. I don't have fucking lunch boxes. But moving on. Next is from the game Deadly Premonition. Anyone play that?
No.
No. We'll move on then. It's hiding from the raincoat murderer. I'm sure.
Oh.
I'm sure
I heard
that
the
was
game was
pretty
terribly
exciting.
awesome.
Next is the legendary theme from Guitar Man, which me and Kyle
I don't know that
have
one.
played.
Played
Have
it.
you guys played it?
It's
Yeah.
awesome. That's not a moment. That's the song. I guess maybe the moment where you turn into Guitar Man.
No,
Yeah.
it just shows him playing on the beach. That's what
Oh.
it shows as the moment.
It's a cool moment in the game, but
I was
not
gonna say,
one of
the-
the most 100 of all time.
The moment I liked the best was the skeleton song. That's all I'll mention.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Mojo King B.
Next is the first time you ever power slided in Ridge Racer.
Not Ridge Racer. Don't give a crap about Ridge
Yeah,
Racer.
who the
Moving
hell-
on.
Ridge
Racer!
Racer.
There it is.
Silence.
There it is.
It's Ridge Racer.
Moving on.
Attack with massive damage. Keep going.
Next is Chasing the Dragon and Dungeon Master. Never played Dungeon Master.
That's the old school. Is that like Atari or?
Yeah, it's which
I
is
had
funny
it.
because Chasing the Dragon is also a term for smoking heroin. Number 95, we have Objection from Phoenix Wright.
Never played
It's
the
not a
second one.
moment though. It's a constant thing that happens.
No, this happens a lot. So
Jumping
be
in
sure-
Mario,
Be sure
you
to
know?
get your gripes out now because that happens a lot in this top 100 list.
I'm
But
thinking of dramatic moments or comedic moments.
Exactly.
Or, oh my gosh, look at that.
That's what it
Exactly.
should be.
That's
There's
what
a
the
couple
word.
in there right here.
next is Cloudy Highlands from Outrun 2. Anyone play Outrun 2?
Nope.
No.
Okay,
Continue.
next.
If it's racing games, just skip it.
I played the original.
Unless it
Outrun.
was San Francisco Rush, because I did. play
Oh
that.
yes.
Number-
yes.
2049.
Next is
I love
number
that game.
93, Seeing the Monster in 3D Monster Maze. Anyone play it?
No.
Moving on.
Next is number 92, successfully docking your spaceship in the game Elite.
That
No.
sounds gay. Let's move on.
Moving on. Next is from another classic game, You Were Eaten by a Groove from Zork
Yep,
1.
Zork. Yep.
Never played Zork.
I've tried to play Zork.
It's what that
is it a
means.
mud?
That says it
It's
all.
boring.
Is
no,
it
it's not a
text
mud.
based?
It's text based. It's not
Oh,
a
yeah.
mud, but it's text
Well,
based.
what, was the mud like multiplayer text based?
Yes.
Okay.
Multi-user dungeon is what mud stands for.
Okay. My bad.
eaten by a groove.
And I've again proven my age.
Next is number 90 is the moment in Ms. Pac-Man where you see Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man meet.
Meet or fall in love.
Fall in love.
Yeah.
It says they meet.
Changed
is
my
the name of it.
preconceived notions about circles with mouths.
Next is from Metal Gear Solid 4, just the Raiden versus Vamp battle.
Yes.
Yeah, no one cares about
It was
that
a-
moving
No,
on.
fuck you. That was an amazing fight.
Yeah, we're
It
gonna have
lasts like an hour and a half, and I'm
That
not
guy-
exaggerating at all.
That guy's at number 2, right?
Fucking nuts.
He's the one guy that gets away. Other
Oh,
than-
spoiler alert. For
He
somebody
just
who's
showed
never
up at
gonna
number
play the
4,
game.
so we know it.
yeah. No, he didn't get away in Metal Gear Solid 4 is actually a dream
I'm
sequence.
pretty sure you can't spoil Metal Gear Solid 4 at this point. It's been out long enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
You know the Titanic sinks too.
Next is number 88, Insult Sword Fighting from Monkey Island.
Yeah!
Loved it.
Loved it. Loved that whole concept.
Too many.
Next is number 87, being consumed by the darkness in the game The Darkness.
The ending? Is that the
It was
ending?
I have no idea.
That must be the ending.
The voice was cool.
There's 2 moments in that game. Jackie's already got the darkness at the beginning. Oh my gosh, I'm a comic book nerd too. Yes.
Okay.
folks.
86.
Next is number 86, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Yes.
Going insane.
Ah, yes.
Forgot about
One of my
that.
favorite games. One of my favorites.
I remember just seeing bits and pieces of it. It looked really cool when you go insane.
Well, the best part is
Acid trip.
you knew that the game would mess with you. You read the reviews, your friends had played it, so they're like, look, it's going to do crazy things like turn the screen off on you, or
Yep.
so that your memory card's broken. It plays with against the player, it breaks the fourth wall.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's not just the screen. I'm saying if when your sanity meter goes out, for example, you'll go from one room to another, and there'll be like a lowly zombie, which you just have to club and be done. But if you have no sanity, the zombie will like shoot across the room, kill you in one hit, and the game comes up and says, game over, restart from the beginning, yes or no. And then when you hit any button, it restores you back to the entrance of the room.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mess with the character, which it does. You can't walk the right way. It's really hard to fight.
brains!
But it fucks with the player.
Yes.
That's what made it
Very
interesting.
That sounds amazing. I need to play that game all the
There's a
time.
similar moment coming in a later game
Cool.
that
Next-
surprised me. You'll know
Next
the
is
game. We all played it.
Borderlands,
Don't
the
care.
Rat
Moving
House.
on.
Didn't care,
Didn't
hated
care.
it.
Fuck
Move
yes.
on.
Borderlands
Dude,
was
Borderlands
amazing.
was the shit.
I don't
No.
shoot
got
you.
every
No, you
single
didn't play
DLC
co-op.
for it.
You have to play it co-op.
Oh,
Have
okay.
to.
Yeah,
Dude,
if you
it-
play it
no,
alone,
Thanks
it
for
sucks.
the hot tip. I'm dancing in my chair.
No, you have to play it co-op, otherwise you're not playing the game.
I don't play
Clearly, I
games where
played some-
people shoot people, so
Oh.
I'll just move on.
I played
You don't
some
shoot
shit.
people. You shoot giant monsters.
Were they giant? Because for the
Yes.
hour and a half I played, they were rats for
Okay,
an hour.
so yeah, if you only play
That's
for an hour
every
and a half,
video
yeah,
game
they're
ever.
gonna suck.
I'm not grinding through bullshit.
I'm saying even Tetris, to get the long piece, you have to fight rats. Every
If you
game
play
is
World
rats
of
to fight.
Warcraft for an hour, it sucks.
Or, anyway, 84 we have from the original Call of Duty being the Stalingrad campaign.
Sure, why not?
Being
Let's move on.
helpless in
That was pretty
Stalingrad.
good. Yeah, that was
Pro-
pretty good.
Probably one of the first cinematic Call of Duty moments.
Sure,
I
I'll have to
imagine.
give you. Yeah, sure, why not?
Next is from Dragon Age Origins, which I didn't play.
Didn't play it.
Moving on.
So we'll just move
Next.
on because it seems to be a spoilerific moment. Next is from Fallout 2, New Reno.
Didn't play it.
Didn't play
Too
it.
low.
Next is Super Mario Kart winning a race.
Just winning?
No. That doesn't.
Any race?
No, not winning a race. The moment in Mario Kart is thinking you're about to win the race and finding yourself in 8th place. That is the definitive Mario Kart moment.
I like
Because
that.
I'm a really good player at that game. If I weren't things that did that to you.
You don't like Kamusha? Okay,
If
next
there's
is
things that-
next is Jet Grind Radio, spraying your first
Oh
piece.
yes.
Yep, loved that
I
game.
No,
love
love
that
that
game.
game.
But there are better moments like
Exactly.
making
Uh,
a huge combo where
yeah,
you never
yes,
fall
fucking-
off. would
The,
be a
like the
better
Tokyo
moment.
level where you're just going up those spirals all the way up to the top
Oh,
of the
yeah.
building.
That's what I'm saying.
Not just
Yeah.
doing your first 3 sprints.
Yeah.
Oh, I pressed 2 buttons.
Tutorial tag. That thing
Yeah,
sucks.
I was gonna say, like,
Come on,
the
IGN.
first time that
Come
you, like,
on.
rail tag, up a giant rail, jump,
Yeah, big 360
rail,
jump
tag.
off the
That
Yeah.
first bus station level, you can do an entire loop.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
Yeah.
Jump time to
You
jump
can keep
strike.
it going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. The moment is facing Mike Tyson.
There you go.
Which,
See?
I don't call that a top moment. That's the most frustrating moment on the planet.
Yep.
That's on top frustrating moments. I would say the top moments on here is like when you figure out how to defeat like King Hippo, or when you figure out
Yes.
how to defeat the bull. I wouldn't say fighting Mike because he's one hit kill, takes 9 million tries to figure out how to beat him, and that's just, you might as well put like the whole
Yep.
Battletoads sequence
Oh,
on the card,
God, yes.
or like just any,
I was
remember
pro
that.
at that, so
Next is from Bionic Commando, Hitler's exploding decapitation.
I'm a Jew and I don't care. Let's move on.
That sounds awesome.
I never played it, but that sounds pretty
yeah.
cool.
In the remake, they didn't make him Hitler anymore.
Nope.
Sad.
Oh, really? It was.
No,
it
he's
was
just the
Son of
bad
the
guy.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Missed
Oh,
moment.
I see. Next is from Mega Man 2, fighting the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
the
pretty
Wily's
tough.
Castle. Yes.
Yeah, but even then, I would say there's much better moments in Mega Man 2 than that one dragon.
Getting
battle.
through Flashman, was it? Who's the one with the
I-
lasers?
Yeah.
I would even say
Quick Flash Man.
Quick Man or Flashman, whichever one. Getting through the vertical shaft down to the bottom.
Exactly.
That's a moment.
That's it.
Next is, I hate this, is Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Billie Jean.
No.
And it's the idea is that like you hearing the song Billie Jean come on the radio
No.
while you're doing crazy shit. That's retarded. Because even in that light,
Go to
you would go
iTunes,
Grand
you
Theft
got
Auto
that
3
moment.
when the crazy opera music is playing while you're murdering people.
Yeah.
That's cool in that sense. Fuck Billie Jean. Next.
Yeah,
No, you can't. That kid is not your son.
Oh, damn it. Next is number 75 from Wrath of the Lich King, the
Oh, never
Warcraft
mind.
expansion,
Yeah,
the
and-
Wrathgate incident.
Sure, why not?
Don't know what it
we
is.
got
Yeah, all the
Couldn't
people,
beat
everyone had
Warcraft.
to team up together and defeat a
Couldn't-
bad guy.
Couldn't beat it.
As much as
Couldn't
I would
play
love to chime in. I never did any of the end game content, so I don't know what that is.
Nope.
Next is from Pokemon Red and Blue, choosing your first Pokemon.
Yeah, good moment. Okay.
Actually,
Well,
don't remember that,
for me, that was a tough one because I was a fan of the series.
No,
and this
it's
and
not
that.
a tough one.
Charmander.
Squirtle's the obvious choice.
No, everyone says Charmander is the obvious choice, but I
So
like
I got
Bulbasaur.
it.
So
Squirtle.
whatever.
Really?
But he talks like this. Squirtle, 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 the Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, when he lost the ability to say the word squad.
Yeah.
And then next is from the original Guitar Hero, More Than a Feeling.
Nah, there's better songs than
better
that.
songs.
Sorry,
Better
I'll play.
songs.
Especially
More Than a
from the
Feeling.
original Guitar Hero, like there are better songs to have covered while you play them. Like,
Yeah,
next,
it's one of those easy songs. Come on.
next is number 72, the kill screen from Pac-Man or Donkey Kong.
Who here has ever actually done
I
that?
haven't
though?
got
Yeah,
that.
that's
Exactly.
not a moment.
That's something like
Nobody
three.
did it.
That's something
That's
300
something you
people
hear
have done.
about.
Yeah, exactly.
Or watching that movie.
Yeah, Steve
Yeah,
Wiebe
or-
versus
the douchebag.
the douchebag.
Billy Bragg.
Beardo,
Billy
Beardo McCock Breath.
Beardo
his,
McCockbread.
with his magic sauces.
Well, I'm going to pause real quick just to mention that they mentioned that they were thinking about making that into like an actual like
They are.
dramatized. They're still making that
They're-
because
really?
it
A
alone
drama?
it alone as a like just a script or like
Scripted.
Yeah, scripted
Uh-huh.
and have people playing the two characters.
Jesus Christ.
Because alone that movie is just so good. The villain is such a dick and the hero is such like I can
Hey,
do it.
I'm having fun.
Exactly.
Oh, you beat the game? Oh, I'm sorry. We can't use this cabinet
And-
even though you beat the game. You
No,
won.
and-
Oh, okay. I'll do it again.
And the villain even has his little toady at the end, like trying to distract them. Hey, everybody, look, watch him try to get the kill screen.
Kill screen coming up, everybody.
The Twin Galaxies grandpa. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so
Oh,
good.
oh, his toady.
Everyone
Hate
needs
that
to
little
watch
douche.
King with the King of Kong
King of
Fistful of
Kong.
Quarters.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All right,
moving
moving
on.
on.
Number 71 is from Parappa the Rapper, the very first sequence.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
Yes.
If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find. My
just
name's the
that whole
teacher. I'm
sequence.
sure to beat you.
I want to say
Although I do
that-
like the last
Get a
song.
lesson for teacher now.
You gotta believe. No,
Yeah.
I hated that shit. Next is the sequence at the end of Assassin's Creed 2, the very last one. The
Wouldn't
back,
know.
which that's the one part of the game I have yet to play, and from what I hear,
What?
it's
Can't remember.
epic, amazing.
It's
Yeah,
only a
singing in the
3-year-old
Vatican's
game.
pretty
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Next is from the game Limbo, number 69.
Yeah.
From the game
Still
Limbo
haven't played
is
that
when
yet.
you first face the
I
spider.
know, it's on my list.
When you
of
first see
things
the
that-
spider, yeah.
Yeah, when you first
Yeah.
face the spider, you
Played
gotta
the
figure
demo.
there's gonna be a
It's
lot of
amazing.
tries.
Although
Yeah,
I have
because
to say the moment when he first comes back is a little bit scary.
Yeah, the whole thing that
In that
you're only
cave,
playing
you're
for
like-
you're only playing for 10 minutes and you have to face a giant spider.
no, it's terror.
And
Terror.
the best thing about that, not to ruin it to, well, screw it, you haven't played it, you should have. But that spider sets up such a tenseness that you're like the rest of the game, you're waiting for the next spider moment. And the game never truly gives you another spider moment.
Yeah.
So you're waiting the whole game for like, oh crap, when's another giant monster going to appear? And that type of thing never happens again. That's brilliantly done.
Indeed. Next is from number 68. Next is from the game Tech Mobile, getting a touchdown.
Sure, why not? Let's move on.
Terrific.
Tecmo.
Touchdown.
Fucking Tecmo.
Next is number 67 from Wild Arms, Rudy the Robot.
Yes, one of my
I
favorite RPGs.
Love
Yeah.
Wild Arms.
Never
I
played
love
that.
how it was basically. It was almost like the old SNES Zeldas, but then they made it a lot more RPG-esque.
I'm gonna date myself again here. That game had such a difficult part in the library level where I couldn't figure out what to do. I had to call a tip line.
Read the book.
No, I know
I
that,
had
I
to.
know that.
No, there weren't books yet, Kyle.
No, in the library.
They didn't make video game books. There wasn't
Was
really
the
a
answer-
big enough internet when this came out. This is before a year before Final Fantasy VII came out. I had to call a tip line. I spent $8 on a tip line to figure out how to get past this level.
What is it,
They did those.
1984 with tip lines?
No, this was
Did
like
you join the Nintendo fan club as well?
yes.
With the little seal on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
I think this was 95,
Come on.
96. This probably
Wow.
happened.
No, that's
You
epic.
have to check on
No,
the...
I've definitely played Wild Arms, but I didn't know tip lines still existed.
Yeah, they
at that
still had
point.
tip lines back then. They were in the back of all the manuals.
But I do remember the library part, like me and my older brother tearing our hair out.
Yeah, you just have to read specific books in a specific order, and you don't know if
Told
you're
you.
doing it right or wrong.
Exactly.
Book.
Next is Star Fox 64, do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. And
There's way better moments in that game.
No, exactly.
Wait.
I liked the tanks, no one else.
just because it became a meme, it doesn't mean it's the best moment.
Next is in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, pulling off a massive combo.
I'll give you
Yes.
Which
that.
can be
Yeah.
applied to
Hell
any
yeah.
Tony Hawk.
The revert feature, add in the grinding, add in the what's it called when you a manual?
Manual.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Emmanuel.
Keeping those.
yeah, the Emmanuel Lewis's
Flopping and
grind
flipping
black
and
midgets.
flopping.
What?
Flipping and flopping.
Next is Super Mario Brothers 3, finding the warp whistle.
Okay,
Which
that's a
I
good
mean,
one.
I wouldn't really. There were a lot better moments in that game as well. I would say the first time you get the leaf, before you, like up to that point, there's nothing
Yeah.
that cool in a Mario game, and then
You
suddenly
fly.
you can fly. lot.
Yeah.
My favorite Mario 3 moment is seeing the wizard in theaters and being
Jesus Christ.
and being like, oh my god, there's going to be another
Jesus
Mario game.
Christ.
That's how they announced it big time. That was the first
yeah.
real public announcement.
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Who?
Mario,
Mario.
games.
Oh, I would
He's
make
my
a much
mom.
bigger deal if we
Mario.
weren't so short on time.
Mario's.
I'm from the
The
East
Mario
Coast.
Queens.
I'm from the East Coast. Get
And
over
my
it.
moment for that would be the first probably the first airship.
The
level,
airship
'cause
is great,
It's
yeah.
a crazy.
Oh,
So
yeah,
much
the first
fun.
time with the airships.
Dun, 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 the music, yeah.
Crazy. Okay, next is number 63, the game Rez, the story of evolution.
Yep, whole game of
All of
Rez.
Rez.
I was gonna say all of Rez. Yeah,
It's 4 hours long.
They mentioned that
It's
in
a
the
moment.
description. It's basically one like continuous tripped out experience. But I mean that was my first run in with a real music game, like a music based game that the music goes along. Like part of the experience is the music, and then next of course was like the harmonics games, frequency and amplitude, and then
Loved
of course
them.
Guitar Hero.
What was that?
I haven't seen the guitar yet, by the way.
Was
I
that a
haven't
big
seen all the
spoiler one?
signatures.
Yeah, it was from Heavy Rain, which I don't think any of us played. I
You didn't play-
really
I
want to
love
play it.
that. That was
I
amazing.
played the demo
But
and I
I'm
was
not
like,
sure if
I
it's a
couldn't do a
spoiler or
whole
not,
game
so
of
I don't
this.
wanna mention
Well, see, the thing is, technically, you can't spoil that game because every time you play it, it's completely different. And I really, really mean that because my brother and I both played it completely separate from each other, and we both got entirely different endings.
Here's the
yes,
No, that's what I heard about.
yeah,
I
and
played
it's-
the-
It really does it
What
well.
was the chopping?
I did it.
Is that a big
Yep.
spoiler?
There's because you have to do
did
like
it.
little challenges and stuff.
I
And
did
one of
it.
the challenges you have to chop off a finger.
did
And you
it.
can either choose to do it or you can not choose to do it, and it all affects how the whole end.
did it.
Oh wow.
I played the demo. And
Well,
the
they have
first
the
half
new,
of the demo, you're the boozy private eye,
Yeah.
big guy.
Yes.
And you have to protect that woman from her.
In the convenience store?
No, in her apartment. You're asking
Yeah,
questions
the
in
fight.
the demo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never going to stop playing this game.
Yeah.
And then you switch characters and had to search in a field for some dirt. And I was like, forget it. You totally lost me. Heavy Rain, you blew
the
it.
FBI agent part with the glasses, especially towards the end when you really have to start putting the whole
I
case
was like,
files
if this
together.
is
gets a
anything
little-
like most of the
It's a little
game,
long. It's really good.
you lost me, poopers.
Next we have number 61, which is from Gears of War, your first Lancer kill.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, why not?
It
Oh,
just,
okay.
it just says
Yeah.
Lancer kill, but I'll say your first. In any instance like that, it should be your
Yeah,
first.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that,
Totally agree
for
with
me
that.
that was really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It did give it the scope of over the top badass.
Yeah, I'm not checking my phone while we talk about that. Yeah.
This is one that should be much higher. This is number 60. It's from Shadows of the Empire, taking down an AT-AT.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Love that game.
No,
I love
because
that.
oh my god.
Well, no,
it was-
I didn't love
that was
that
a lot of
game.
fun.
I loved parts of that game.
You
No,
love
because
this part
that
of the
was the
game.
first time in a video game you could relive that moment from
Yep.
Empire. We have to move on, but I will talk about that.
That's
later.
a good one.
That's an epic one. That's at number 60, and there are shitty ones between now and
The
then.
whole Rogue Squadron series I would put above half of the stuff we've just done, but continue.
You're
next,
lucky.
next is for Mass Effect 2, and it sounds like a big spoiler, but
It
it's not,
is.
so I'll just say it. What? But no, because it
It's
happens
their
in an instant.
I know, and it's their ad for the whole third game. So.
I blew, yeah, and,
It's-
I blew it for me by reading through. I was click, 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 and then I was like, I wonder if I'll ever play the Mass Effect games. Click, 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 click.
Oh.
What? Oh, well, now I guess I won't.
No, it's okay because it happens for a second and then it's nullified the next second.
Well, you just did 2 spoilers then.
You might as well say it now.
No, Shepard dies. Shepard dies in Mass Effect 2 for a second.
I thought you were talking about something else. What?
No. Shepard dies in Mass Effect 2, but it's like it's in the opening
thought we were talking
sequence,
about Ass
and
Effect.
then he's revived in the next second. It doesn't matter. It's a pointless spoiler. Okay,
thought we were talking about
but that's number
Ass
59,
Effect.
and that's not even the best moment in Mass Effect 2. So fuck you, list
By far, no. Yeah.
by far. Next is in the original Star Wars game for something is
The
blowing up
vector,
the
Vector
Death
one?
the vector graphic
Yeah, the
one.
vector graphic one.
Probably. It looks all just
Lines.
Yeah,
It's
vector
blowing
lines.
up the
That's
Death
called
Star.
vectors.
It's number
Oh,
50.
man.
Which I'm sure was real cool if you're like 30-something.
Shut up.
Next is from Galaga getting the double shit power up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I always prefer Big Breaker,
Moving
but
on.
okay.
Who prefers Break Breaker?
To Galaga.
Good God. Crazy. First shoot 'em up. Good game. Next is Super Mario 64 looking into the light.
That was a cool.
Yep.
Hey, look, you have a camera that, although is really crappy because it's the first camera of its kind,
It was
here's
still
something
amazing.
cool you can do with it.
I think what the point was that it takes you to the wing and hat level.
Yeah.
You're,
Yeah.
you're immediately flying. You're like, oh, I'm flying to Mario again. I would actually have to put when you walk into the giant miniature world for the first time. And you're either super tiny or super huge. And you're like,
Depending on which hallway you run down.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, blasphemy,
Put that above it.
have not played a lot of that game. I've played like maybe an hour of that game.
Are you allowed
Super
to host?
Mario 64?
Are you allowed to
Call
host this
yourself a-
podcast?
Can you call yourself a
Ridiculous.
gamer?
Okay,
That's
I've
too
got
bad.
enough creds, alright? I've played every
I don't
Metroid
know.
game. I've played
Ridiculous.
every
That's one of
Zelda
those
game,
ones, though.
except for the newest one. So
This is
get
straight
off
up
my back.
ridiculous.
Get off my back. Okay, next is number 55 from Skyrim, The Dragon's Return.
Sure, why not? The
Okay.
beginning of the
Played it,
game.
so-
Beginning of the game, apparently.
Next is from the
Sounds
game
like it.
Half-Life, They're
Yes.
After You. Which is the moment in the game. It's
Die,
when you
yeah,
realize
don't-
that the people, the military that have come to maybe help you are then suddenly
not.
after you, maybe? Is
Yes.
that it?
Yes.
Okay, making sure.
I liked it when you played Blue Shift and there was stuff and you were that guy.
I'm the
You
security
like
guard.
Blue
Yeah.
Shift?
Just
3.5 hour game or
just the
whatever
moments
hell
where
it
it's
is.
like, oh, I'm the guy that Gordon Freeman saw over there.
Yeah, I'm the guy that walked by. Oh,
Well, no,
so glad
actually,
I
I'll
bought that.
mention it's one of the few
And then they
moments,
brought
'cause,
back
again,
Barney.
that's another game that
That's
I
my Barney
haven't
impression.
finished. But the moment in the beginning when the reactor freaks out and you go out there and suddenly everyone's got head crabs and you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't have like any. I'm pretty sure you don't
Crowbar.
even have the crowbar. You have
That's
the
all you
crowbar?
have.
No, yeah.
That's my Barney impression.
Which
Gordon!
I'll
Gordon Freeman! Don't forget this again. I'm the crowbar.
All right. Next, number 53 is from the original Ninja Gaiden, the first face-off, Ninja face-off. Pretty neat moment.
That's one of those games where you have to memorize everything, and once you do, you can get through that game without taking a single hit.
Next is from Super Mario Galaxy 2. Anyone get a chance to play that yet?
Yep.
Not yet.
It's the Throwback Galaxy.
Yep,
Probably
it's the
pretty.
Super Mario 64 level.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
You wouldn't even. That's the second level of Super Mario 64. Get out of here. Leave this place.
Tears. Okay.
You're a bad man.
Next is from Wolfenstein 3D, number 51, Mecha Hitler.
Super Hitler in
Wait,
a robot
the
suit.
first Wolfenstein?
Yeah, we use
Oh,
Super
yes.
Hitler.
Hell yeah.
Comes out in a freaking.
Granddaddy of FPS is right there.
Next
With a
is from
Gatling gun.
StarCraft, Zerg Rush.
Yes! Fuck you, StarCraft is amazing.
I'm not good at it.
I'll just
That
mention-
doesn't mean it's bad.
What's your APM?
I don't have one.
He doesn't have an APM, but he loves StarCraft.
I
Moving
do!
on.
Fuck,
He
I
loves
just-
StarCraft, doesn't know his APM. Moving on.
6. Mine's
Well,
6.
I'll just mention real
Is that the
quick
answer?
that
Mine's negative 8.
I'll just mention real quick from StarCraft. I didn't like the concept of the Zerg Rush because up to that point, me and my older brother played tons of RTSs, Age of Empires, StarCraft, Command and Conquer,
Warcraft.
everything. But we'd always played. None of us ever attacked each other for the majority of the time, and just amassed giant armies. Got all the way up every tech tree, everything's, and then at some point, a giant 7 million man army would come to your base, and you'd be like, no! Oh my god! So that's how we played up to that point. So when I first played against someone, and then I was like building resources, and someone came over with 3 Zerg, destroy. You win. What? That's not how you play.
You build everything. And then you maybe lose. Probably.
Next is number
I'm gonna take
49.
my time.
Next is number 49 from the game Demon Souls, which is one of the first bosses you fight, which is the Tower Knight. I've heard he's really difficult to kill because he's got like a
In
stomp, area of effect stomp that just kills you in like
Is
one
he the
hit.
one that you have to like just run a mile away from and slowly whittle away over
And
the
there are
next 5
archers
hours?
constantly shooting at you, and
Yeah.
everything kills you
Jeez.
really quickly. Next is from Wii Sports, playing tennis.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
No,
Moving
no,
on.
stupid.
Moving on.
It's not a
Stupid.
moment. Game's not a moment.
Yeah, it's...
You know what, the funny thing is, if we really were honest with ourselves and looked back to the first time you played Wii, you'd be like, yeah. But looking back at
What-
where we are now, we don't care.
I can see the next one, and what bullshit is this?
No, it's
What
Halo
fresh
2,
hell is this?
Halo 2 playing as the Arbiter.
What?
A.
No.
That's not a
Story,
moment.
story,
B.
for story perspective, it is.
Yeah. It's neat, not playing as
It's the
Master
same
Chief.
thing. There's
Playing
First
no
of all,
as like
difference at
the
all.
down, disgraced guy. It's neat. Neat story.
It is a neat story aspect, and it shows how an outsider can be shown that their militant, crazy religious ways are psychotic. But there's better moments in Halo 2. B,
Way better moment.
there were a lot of people, including myself a little bit, where you're like, I'm playing as somebody else now? Where's Master Chief? Why am I not being badass Master Chief anymore? What's this? Particularly in the last level where it's like, alright, time to switch to the Master Chief and be the last level of the game. Oh, it's over. Last level was the Arbiter, huh?
That was a bad taste in his mouth, so we couldn't hear.
That's all I'll remember the Arbiter, unfortunately. Why do you think you didn't play as him in Halo 3? Because people were vocal.
Being voiced by the guy who tries to get me to join the army.
The Arbiter. You must be silenced.
Next is number 46, the Cyber Demon from Doom.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on. Next is number 45 from Uncharted 2.
Yes.
Didn't play any of them. Haven't played a single one yet.
Which
Says-
moment?
It
They
says
are
off-
amazing.
Off the rails.
The reason you should buy a PS3.
Off the rails.
It
What
says
part
off
is
the
that?
rail.
On the train sequence?
Beginning
There's two
train
train
sequence?
sequences.
Okay.
There's the train sequence in the beginning, and then there's the whole level where you're on a
Where
train.
you're on the train that leads to the beginning of the train sequence.
Yes.
So would you recommend then
Buying
next
a
time
PS3?
next time there's a serious lull in new releases?
Get it.
Here's another
Okay.
moment that's
Okay.
apparently better than taking down the AT-ATs in Shadows of the Empire as dying of dysentery in the Oregon Trail.
That's from my childhood.
yes.
And I don't mean playing the game, I mean
No,
my family dying of dysentery.
If they're
Remember
memorable
Oregon Trails?
moments,
Yeah,
I
no.
could agree with that. But they're
Yeah.
not memorable moments. It's the top moments.
Yeah, it's
like
just top moments. It's not. There's so many of those in this. I hate it.
which one is a meme? Is dysentery is a
Yeah, it's-
meme.
The whole-
AT-ATs aren't. But which was a better moment is the AT-ATs.
Here lies
Um,
Pooh. He died of dysentery.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, like,
I
either-
killed Mind the
either-
Buffalo to death or whatever.
Either moments that like sparked a lot of emotion in one way or another, or moments that like maybe were influential, sort of like this next one, number 43, Quake: The Rocket Jump. The rocket jump led to a lot of mechanics.
I never played Quake enough to take advantage of that feature. That was multiplayer mainly, right?
Well, Quake, the first Quake didn't really have multiplayer.
No, it said Quake 1, Rocket Jump. I think it might have been an aspect maybe in the game.
But my point is I didn't play multiplayer.
Ooh, next moment is a good one for me. Number 42 from Silent Hill 2, the Brookhaven Hospital.
Okay.
It established the crazy nurses, terror incarnate.
It's still one of the best stories
Really?
in a
Silent
game.
Hill
Everybody still says Silent
Yeah.
Hill.
Well, I mean, it's how the reason.
No,
I like
Silent Hill
keeping my
2,
poop in
the
my
story.
butt.
Just
Really? Another
watch
Uncharted
rather
moment?
than in my
Fucking-
pants.
Which
Oh,
one?
just did
Shut up. Tell me which
Uncharted
one.
3, the plane crash.
wouldn't know.
Yes.
Keep going.
The plane crash when he falls out of the back of the plane. Trust me, I just recently played that. It is amazing when you watch it for the first
But
time.
nonetheless,
I've seen it in the
two
ad
from
every
Uncharted
time.
Oh,
That
shit,
plays before every one of my Hulu
no,
videos.
because the little piece
Must
that
have
you
been Drake.
see
It's
is just
all
a
in
part
English.
of it.
Fuck.
I fucking hate you.
Why are these two guys fucking in my imagination?
Next is from the original God of War, the Hydra battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you start off the game
Yeah.
fighting a
That's
battle
awesome.
bigger than most games.
No, which I love because they mention it
I
in
went to the whole game.
in the extra credits episode about tutorials, just like how tutorials should be. They cite God of War because you're teaching someone how to play the game, but making them feel badass every step of the way.
Yep.
By the time they've learned the game, they've pierced 2 Hydra's heads and then murdered the last one.
On a mask.
And then you go back and you try and play it on hard mode after you beat it, and you're like,
And you're
crap,
fucking-
this is the
yeah.
beginning of the game, and I'm getting my butt kicked
Yeah.
at the beginning.
I remember trying. I think I've beaten God of War 1 and 2 on whatever the hardest is. Titan.
I haven't
whatever
done
it
it in
is.
Titan.
One
I've
on
done
the
them
hardest.
both.
I didn't beat 2 on the hardest.
I did because I'm amazing. But God of War
that's tough.
3
That's what you do.
God of War 3 is incredibly hard. on the hardest.
cannot
Oh my
beat the
God.
Leviathan on.
No.
hardest.
So hard.
Impossible.
Next
Can't do it,
is
can't do it.
spoiler, but it's an old enough game and a classic enough game that I don't feel bad spoiling it. From Chrono Trigger, number
Yep.
39, Chrono's death.
If he dies. I mean, he dies. He dies, but you have your option of going back and saving him.
Next is another one I love, number 38 from Batman Arkham Asylum, Encountering Scarecrow.
This is what I was talking about.
Also good.
Loved it.
That moment, the third time it happens, the third time you get gassed,
Mhm.
when Eternal Darkness is your machine.
Yes.
I actually think I shut it off and turned it back on.
That is
Wait,
Like,
which
remember
moment?
Eternal
Which
Darkness.
moment?
The third time you
Yeah,
encounter
you get gas. What happens exactly?
the screen
Yeah,
fucks
Screen
up.
goes out.
Yeah.
The screen goes out and
It
the
says
game
like signal.
reboots.
It says
Yeah.
like signal loss.
That's right.
It takes you back to the title screen.
It takes you back. It takes you back to the opening cinematic. I was like, I don't want to start from the beginning. I load last save. Turn off machine. Turn back on. Load last save.
What
And then it did
happened
it
when
again.
it
I was like,
happened again?
I got punked here.
No, so many. That whole sequence is just. You know, you see the bodies, and then you're like, oh, I guess there's nothing left to do in this room. And you leave, and then you re-enter it, and then you turn around,
You're like,
and the
what the
door's
heck?
closed. It's like,
I'm in the same room.
That's Eternal Darkness right there.
There's
that
Jim
is
Gordon's dead body.
amazing. That whole.
There's my dead parents popping out of body bags.
Yep.
What's the matter, Bruce?
So
You scared?
Oh, my mommy and daddy died.
Noticeably. And then, of course, in that sequence, you get Mark Hamill doing not only Joker, but Scarface. Welcome to Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
I'm a crazy puppet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I thought you meant
Dr.
like.
Crane is in charge of the
You think he meant
crazies. I'm a
look,
puppet.
say hello to my little friend Scarface? We're talking about Batman.
No, I know that, but I thought we were still on Scarecrow, and when he was like, "Oh, I love when Scarface comes in," and I was like, "Wait, does he do a Scarface impression at some point? What is
Yes.
happening?"
No,
Is he doing
the
like-
It
puppet.
doesn't make any sense, but they
The
do
vent
it.
Tony
figure.
Montana.
Rocksteady's that cool.
Anyways, next is number 37 from Half-Life 2 Episode 2, which I haven't played yet.
What? Well, then why are you reading this? This is the
ending.
Oh.
I read the list. That's
I
the
didn't
end
read.
of
I
the
didn't
game.
read. I didn't read through it. I just read the thing.
Yeah,
That's
no.
the ending.
Assumptions.
Yeah, don't read that.
Why do you think people are so eager for the third episode?
Oh God.
Because it's
Maybe.
fucking Half-Life.
Oh.
It could be Episode 3. Everything from the point of view of I don't know some random. It could be Blue
Barney.
Shift Dog. Yeah,
back.
Barney's back. Like,
No,
Don't
you
leave
play.
this behind, Gordon.
You play as the crowbar.
Exactly. As you get thrown from Barney.
Catch me, catch me.
Good God. Okay, next number 36.
Go play episode 2.
I will. No, I have Orange Box for.
It's got
for
Anna
360.
Baldwin in it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Next is number 36 from System Shocks 2. Anyone play System Shock 2?
Yes.
Nope.
Is
Didn't beat it because.
Shodan's reveal. I don't know if that's
What's that?
Remember how you felt when you were like, "Hey, this friendly computer voice in Portal, maybe she's a bitch who wants to kill me." That times a million where you have to wipe the poop out of your pants. That's System Shock 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's the helpful AI on the ship, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're insane, and this is a place that I will die in. This is my coffin, this spaceship. No.
I always hear people
That
talk
game scared. I never beat it because I was
Too scared.
I was 13 or 12 at the time, and I was like, I don't want to play video games anymore. That
No, I really want to go back and play the System
Where's
Shock
Mario?
games because the BioShock games are the spiritual successors to System Shock. So I want to go
Hence
back
the
and see
name.
what the original
Shock.
But moving on, number 35, a nice one, is from Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.